Professor X! House of X version! The abilities. Yes, that's what we're going to dissect, have a look at, find some things I like and dislike about this, and as well run some footage over the top. So yeah, House of X version. This is not the wheelchair or hover chair bound version, and I hope in the future we actually get to see that in some capacity if it's indeed possible. But as you can see, we've got the Cerebro, or if you're street at home, Cerebra, head, where, roll the video thing. Now you can check all these details out for yourself by simply going to the Mutant filter, going down right to the bottom. We will do Apocalypse in another video, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to be focusing on the 4 and 5 star, or mainly the 5 star. The 6 star, yeah, it's a bit kind of overkill, but I just don't think we'll get the best kind of like stats and info from doing the 5 star version, which for a lot of players is a little bit more obtainable. I must say, Kabam have done such an amazing job. The level of detail with the helmet is just unparalleled. Yeah, okay, like other games have done a similar thing, but I must admit the way that the glimmer is off of the helmet and the way that it's presented as a character, it just looks really good. The same thing with Apocalypse, but again, that's another thing for another video. The first thing I like about this champion is that he's got reverse control immunity, which is amazing. There's a very few amount of champions, I think it's Emma Frost and Mr. Sinister off the top of my head that I can remember that have it. So having another one to the mix is great. So that's good. The thing straight off the bat that interests me is these persistent charges, or persistent Cerebro charges, which is all about boosting the potency of Professor X synergies, which kind of fall in line with how the character is in the House of X comic book saga and how Professor X is in general, in that he's helping out fellow mutants. So it's increasing and improving potency. So if this is a champion to assist your team, it's like Nick Fury, but on speed for those that have got mutant champions. So I rate that, I like it. And some of these are like plus 25% special attack damage for each Cerebro charge. That sounds like quite extensive. All mutants and X-Men except Professor X, plus 18% poison resistance for each Cerebro charge, max 72% Wolverine for critical rating, armor up buffs for Colossus. So Colossus is going to be stacked. And then as well, you've got stuff for the Storms and Emma Frost. And also you've got Drug L. You've also got Gateway. So we're going to look at Archangel having bleed potency. God, man, this guy is going to stack the mutant line. Yeah, and at this point, I am super hyped for what this champion can do. I've recently been doing the Heralds of Galactus Herald's difficulty going against Mole Man. Now, imagine, as this is all about class advantage in that particular situation, that you're able to have this synergy with all these Cerebro charges, and you just damage outputting a load with Archangel. Other champions benefit as well on Mutant, and it's a big push. I don't know if this will be like the last time that we see any kind of great push towards the mutant line, but man, this is stacking and this is pretty amazing. And I haven't even got to the full read of the abilities. But I guess that's the concern. Is this champion going to be more of an assistant champion, similar to like, not like Nick Fury, because Nick Fury holds his own. But, you know, ideas that this champion is just a synergy building champion. But we'll read on. Very early for me to tell. Now, there are similarities. Falter, as you know, Ebony Maw has, and this will allow the opponent to attacks to miss for 2 seconds. But if you throw a special attack, it is removed. And as well, if you swipe backwards or you dodge backwards, the cooldown reduces the duration by 1%. So something to bear in mind. The whole champion's makeup seems to be around these channeling charges. I like that while at 25 plus channeling charges against non-tech champions, Professor X cannot be evaded and gain a vigilance passive, allowing all attacks to bypass miss. Very handy against certain situations, especially those with champions. If you're looking for like a counter for evading, this is not an obscure one, but this is a cool creative way with this. So yeah, build up to those 25. At 50 plus, things get really tasty. So it seems by doing the heavy attack, you're able to get more of these channeling charges to get to the point of mind control. But that's not really what the main thing is about this, as you can get things similar to your Magnetos, that you're building up the prowess buff, you're able to smack through a great amount of damage, and as well the time seems to be there as well, like damage rate 40% increase for 36 seconds. That's a long time. You don't really have to worry quite so much of the prowess buff going off if it's constantly on there, so spamming those special attacks could be quite a nice effective thing once you've got lots of the channel charges in place, and as well inflicting the mind control, which looks to have some nice stuff as well. Man, I feel like a kid in a candy store, especially looking at stuff like they're locked from gaining power or using any of their special attacks under mind control. So that's pretty cool. Building up to mind control is very important, it seems, and you can do that by throwing the SP1. But yeah, like, and from doing like the heavy attacks. I'm just so excited for seeing Professor X in, and as well, like the extent of what the champion can actually do. And I'll be throwing up footage, I don't know if it'll be up now, of the champion in action. I think it's taken from either MCOC Journal's video, or it'll be taken from Otriux's video to just showcase the champion in action, especially from what the champion can build up, throwing the special attacks, what they look like, and as well what these mind control and channeling does. But do bear in mind, I think I'm going to have this champion for the CCP review, which will be out at some point in the next week or so. So yeah, I'm really excited to have a go with this champion and see how much of the damage output is going to be, the utility side of things, and as well if this champion does slap, if it slaps well, but also it is more of an asset champion to building teams for Mutant. That is going to be another key thing as well. The ultimate Mutant team is now created with this, and if it is a champion that slaps hard, that utility's hard, and does everything else hard, then it's going to be a case I will put my money where my mouth is, and I will go for some early access crystals and hope for the best. But just quickly before we round off the video, I want to see about the way that you can scale the damage for things like the Special Attack 3. As it says, you can get a prowess buff for each Cerebro charge. This is the case, it's not about this being a synergy based champion. With Cerebro charges being times 4, it'll increase the special attack damage by 60%, lasting 40 seconds, max 4 stacks. So that's going to be so important to go, right, well, I've done 4 fights where I've won, and then what I've done is I've slapped together an SP3, but does that then work in conjunction with stuff with, not with mind control, but is that with channeling and cancelling, where you gain a prowess buff, increasing special attack damage by 40% for 36 seconds. So, does that mean that that doubles the extent of your prowess buffs, or does it then put an extra one on top? So say you've got the 4 from the max stacks there of the SP3 based on the Cerebro charges, and as well, do you get an additional one from doing the channeling, the completing or cancelling, whatever it is. So the cancel by blocking charging a heavy attack, or using a light, medium, or special attack. So that's something to point out as well. It looks like there is a method to the way that you do channeling, completing, and cancelling. So that's something I think needs to be fully explained. So if you want to cancel by blocking, or you cancel by dashing backwards, so charging a heavy attack or using a light medium attack gains a prowess buff, or do you want to gain more channeling charges, or do you want to cancel by dashing, which refreshes the duration of all prowess effects on Professor X. So that might be important or more apt to focus on if you've got the SP3. So if you smashed off an SP3, do you then go down the route of cancelling by dashing backwards in order to refresh the duration of all prowess effects on Professor X, as you only have 40 seconds? So say you're slapping, and then you're like, right, well, I need to refresh, so therefore I need to focus on, I don't need to throw another SP3, but maybe instead I can focus on doing something else. Is this something that's more of a build-up thing to when you've got 4? Those will be things to test out when I get this champion for the CCP review. Also guys, just to let you know that I have already done a comic book history for this character. I will do the links in the description if you do want to check it out. As normally, I do like a comic book history type thing, but I've already done one and I don't want to overload you guys with just like putting another segment in this video. So go and check it out, links in the description if you want to learn more about House of X version of Professor X. Right guys, on screen at the moment I'm going to be showcasing a bit more of the footage from MCOC Journal's video, and it is just so impressive to see the champion in action. There's a great amount of that burst damage, which is pretty impressive, which I like, and especially having a champion that's not just about like physical hits, with energy damage being kind of a thing that's been pushed a lot more this year. Now, does that help for the likes of Captain Marvel movie? No, it does not. It does put it over the threshold from the point of building up binary charges, and the same thing with other champions like Bishop, etc, etc. But what we want to see and what has been showcased is the SP3 from a point of building prowess. Do bear in mind that in this video, the Cerebro charges aren't there. There's only one Cerebro charge, so therefore that max stack, which would be so important to build from fight to fight to fight, 4 fights indeed, to build up a nice amount of prowess debuffs, prowess buffs even, you won't see a huge amount of damage output, but still that falter missing can be very helpful for the channeling of the champion to then build up those charges and do an extensive amount of damage. Either way, I'm impressed with what I've seen, and as well the dodging, love that. I think that's really clean. That kind of teleportation stuff is immense. So yeah, really excited and really looking forward to this champion. And what more can be said? I'm really looking forward to this champion, testing it out, and as well going for the crystals. The same thing with Apocalypse, but I'll be saving that for another video. This one up first, and I'll try and get the Apocalypse one up by end point of today. But yeah, I'm really excited about what I see. Prof X, yes, I know that a lot of diehard fans would love to have seen the one in the hover chair. And maybe that will be something in the future that Kabam can do. But this seems to be like an easier thing to do. And also, this is all about the House of X story arc that they want to put in place. Magneto has got the white Magneto, not the Marvel Now one, is now the House of X one, I want to say. Apocalypse, this Apocalypse is working around like what's going on with this House of X story arc, which I rate because it is a fairly fresh one as well. So yeah, maybe hopes for the future for a wheelchair or kind of hover chair version. But I'm happy with what I see, and especially from the point of a champion that is going to do so much for the mutant line, the mutant teams, and as well mutant damage. So yeah, I'm all for this and I'm pretty excited. The final thing is check out some recent content up there, check out some other stuff over there, and I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the Apocalypse video a bit later on. Bye bye for now.